Let's bring in Amrita Sen, the chief oil analyst at Energy Aspects in London. Amrita, thank you so much for joining us today. Set the scene on what we can expect to see throughout the day in the oil sector.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think the key over here is the markets reacted. It's been a knee-jerk reaction because everybody is asking the question, how is Iran going to retaliate? And I think that's why you've seen prices kind of jump 3–4%. We don't expect Iran to actually retaliate quickly. They're not reckless. Of course, there will be a huge urge to do something, but they are going to plan this and it's going to take some time. So if you don't see anything instantaneous from Iran, the market might just, give up the gains by the end of today or potentially even on Monday. But for us, of course, it is a very big deal. It's just that, we've seen this when the attacks on Upcake in Saudi Arabia in September happened as well. This market is extremely complacent. It never takes into account just how tight the crude market is. And you've seen that in time spreads. Brent's been over, dollar backwardated. It's a very, very tight market. But, the kind of general message or the general view in the market has been, oh, the world is awash in oil, however incorrect it is. And unless and until it sees an actual outage last, I'm not sure we're going to sustain this rally just yet. Once you start to see the reaction from Iran and down the line, I think the real risk is in Iraq and how that unfolds, then yes, prices can go back up again.
The sanctions against Iran created concern about the supply of certain types of crude. Beyond this, I would think that there would be concerns not just about Iran's supplies, but those of its surrounding neighbors as well if the region is drawn into a conflict.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if anything, to your point, the sanctions have already crippled Iranian exports. They're basically down to about 400,000 barrels per day. And I think those will continue through smuggling. And, Chinese are still buying some oil. That's not going to stop. The real risk is, how does Iran retaliate? We've seen what it can do in Saudi Arabia. Does it do similar stuff again? Is there another attack on Saudi facilities? Sorry, I've got this cold. Yeah. Or is it Iraq that's where you see the real reaction, which is in Basra? And remember, Iraq actually does export about 3.5 million barrels per day of oil from the south. And that, I think, is the biggest risk for the market right now. If it gets really sectarian in Iraq, that's where the real risk is for oil markets, because that can get very, very messy. And there's going to be a lot of oil at risk.